Guys, I want to tell you about our friends over at Frost Buddy. It is drinkware engineered to keep your beverages exactly how you want them. Whether you're heading out for an adventure or just powering through your day, Frost Buddy's flagship product, the Universal Buddy, replaces the need for multiple can coolers by fitting virtually every 12-ounce and 16-ounce can bottle you drink, sodas and seltzers to coffee and sparkling water, all in a single versatile design. Constructed with high quality double walled stainless steel and thoughtful features like a flexible silicone lid and a tapered shape that fits most cup holders, Frost Buddy keeps drinks cold for 12 hours and hot for up to 6 hours. So you get consistent temperature control, whether it's an iced drink on a hot afternoon or a hot coffee on the drive to work. Built to last, field tested for durability, and backed by a 30-day return policy, Frost Buddy makes everyday moments from tailgates and beach days to backyard cookouts and commutes more enjoyable. Going over and click the link below and use promo code SSS15 to get 15% off of your first purchase when you visit our friends over at frostbuddy.com. And when you use that promo code SSS15. Are you tired of spending upwards of $7 to $8 on coffees that are full of sugar and high in fat? Well, look no further than Chike Nutrition, the brand redefining what coffee can do for your day. Chike Nutrition combines the rich, familiar taste of real coffee with 20 grams of high-quality protein and the energy of 2 shots of espresso, giving you both fuel and function in every scoop. Available in a variety of crave-worthy flavors like mocha, caramel, vanilla, and many more, Chike delivers smooth, cafe-style iced coffee that mixes instantly with water or your favorite milk, with no clunky blender or complicated prep needed. Each serving is designed to be low in sugar, packed with protein, and loaded with real espresso, so that you can get a sustained energy that helps power your morning, workout, or busy afternoon without the crash that comes from sugary coffee drinks. Whether you're looking for better nutrition in your coffee routine or a smarter way to stay energized and full longer, Chike makes it simple. Scoop, shake, sip, and enjoy. If you want to take advantage of the new year and get in the best shape of your life, click the link below and get yourself 10% off of your first order over at ChikeNutrition.com. Man, not even 3 minutes into the show and we're already having technical difficulties, which is what we love to see. But nonetheless, guys, we are live. Welcome on inside to the Southern sports scene. I'm your host, as always, Lucas Hill. Usually we'd have the camera up and rolling, but unfortunately we are having some difficulties with that. But hey, the show continues to go on. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share, subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell notifications so that you are notified every time we go live, posting a video or posting a short here on the Southern sports scene. Welcome on in to our new viewers. Every live show brought to you by our good friends over at Frost Buddy. Going over to frostbuddy.com. Use that promo code SSS15 to get 15% off of your first purchase. That is code SSS15 to get it 15% off of your first purchase. We also want to thank our friends at Chike Nutrition Products with 20 grams of protein, 1 gram of fat, 1 gram of sugar. You can get every day started with a healthy, hearty cup, but just go on over to our friends over at Chike Nutrition Products so that you can get every day started with the best iced coffee on the market. And we also want to thank our friends at Buzzer for allowing us to produce live streams, produce some great content on their platforms. Head on over to buzzer.com or download the Buzzer app today to see if you can become a verified creator today. All right. Hey, got a lot to talk about tonight, so we got no time to waste. Do us a favor. If you're live on Facebook, make sure you are sharing this to your friends. Tell your friend groups that we are live here on the Southern Sports Scene. If you're watching us on Twitter, make sure you hit the repost button, hit that like button as well. And if you're watching us on Twitter, like I just said, hit the subscribe button down below. So there has been a lot that has transpired over the past several days with the Ward Manual situation. And I gave myself somewhat of a break to talk about it because if you just are now tuned in, going over to our recent State of the Program series on Michigan, myself and Michelle both broke down a little bit about what to expect from Michigan this year. What's the latest that we have heard from the program and what to expect at the end of the day. But listen, there's been a lot of things that has transpired with this old Michigan situation. Want to shout out our guy Reed Napper's tuned into the show as we speak. He says, "Yo, shout out Reed. Make sure you're going over and follow the College Football Red Zone boys. Help them. They just hit over 2,000 followers on X. Get them to 500 subscribers. We're both on the road to 500 subscribers as we speak." This Ward Manual situation is just getting worse and worse and worse. Every new news outlet and every new event that we are hearing about, it's just getting so much worse. So we talked about on the stream that there have been 24 scandals over the past 10 years, but it's really 5 or really half of those that really take the cake. The COVID dead period recruiting rules, the Juwan Howard situations where he gets into a fight with a Wisconsin coach, he threatened to kill a Maryland coach. You have the situation where you just all of a sudden decide to fire Mark Rosen, who was the then basketball coach over at Michigan, winning his basketball coach in Michigan football history, and you just decide to fire him out of the blue. And look, it wasn't like Michigan was in a horrible situation. They did, however, didn't reach the NCAA. They missed the NCAA tournament for just the, I believe, 4th time in his tenure. Yeah, this was a Michigan team that was consistent. They had made a couple of regional semifinals, some finals as well. And then they fired him. So there wasn't really any controversy with him either. You have, obviously, the Matt Weiss situation. This was I think, really the 3rd incident that really took over there was the cake. So you had the COVID dead period, the Juwan Howard incidents from 2022 to 2023 and 2024, if we're being real. You have the Chris Partridge situation where he ends up getting fired for allegedly participating in destroying evidence during the sign stealing ordeal, or advanced scouting is really what sign stealing is not illegal. Okay. It's advanced scouting that they had an issue with. So he was fired for that, but the NCAA would clear him. And now he just filed another lawsuit against Ward Manual. You have the Blake Corum LLC that ties him to the Connor Stallions ordeal. That's really 4. And then this one really took over, really has been the tipping point of the entire ordeal is the Sharon Moore situation where he's in a consensual relationship with a young lady. You have all the craziness that happened with the Shiver situation where allegedly things went south after it went after things went bad. Something happened, obviously. We don't really know just yet. But something happened between between the end of November and then when he got arrested in December, that things went awry. You have also some outside things that have happened that not necessarily athletic related, but it does relate to the university itself. The former president, Santa Ono, who was accused of multiple Title IX violations, where he allegedly hacks into student athletes' computers, etc. And from what the courts say, thousands of these were women. So who knows what happened with that situation. And by the way, I don't know if you remember this from last summer. He types out a resignation / saying, hey, I'm leaving. I'm going to take the Florida job where he's now at the moment. And he chat GPTs a goodbye letter to faculty. And the board, I believe, put him on suspension or something like to that matter, which I thought was really interesting. I mean, really, really interesting. So you have that situation. You have all of these things that are going on at the current moment with Michigan. And guess who's the head man at the end of the day when it comes to the athletic department? Thank you, by the way, Mr. Steve. He says, you the man. You look at that and you see the controversy. Is it worth having 2 national titles in 3 years? Is it? I questioned this on the video that I put out this morning about this whole situation, and I went into detail more about all of the alleged incidents that have happened during the time of Ward Manuel. Michigan is a complete dumpster fire at this point. There's a lot of things that he knew. Ward Manuel, from what we have heard, allegedly, because we do not want to get sued either, knew about the relationship between Sharon Moore and Paige Shivers. This was known information. Even some of the media knew about this. People that were in Michigan, that were at or really around the program, even some guys that I know personally, knew that this was going on for months. This was an incident that was going on for several. That was something crazy. This was something that allegedly had started back during the spring of 2025. I believe it might have gone even long before that. Maybe dating back to the national championship. That's going to say something. None of this information has been released yet, but the court documents state that from what I have seen, Santa Ono ordered a cover-up for this whole situation for everything that happened at Michigan. So from what Michelle told me, but by the way, you can go watch the video yourself. It is going to be a school issue because the people involved in these incidences are no longer with the university. Santa Ono is at Florida. Sharon Moore is unemployed. Jim Harbaugh is with the Chargers. Connor Stallions, I don't know where he is on Twitter. That's all I know. Chris Partridge is with the Seahawks as well. Matt Weiss is unemployed and in court right now. So I don't know what's going to happen with this whole situation. But I have done a lot of research I don't think, and from what Michelle told me, the NCAA is not expected to get involved in this whole ordeal. And listen, people are going to act like Michigan didn't get a big punishment last year. $30 million is still a lot of money to take away from a program. Now, it's not really much when you have billionaires that are investing into the program, guys like Larry Page and Dave Portnoy, et cetera. Those are just little examples, but it's still. In this age of NIL, you'd think loss of scholarships is a big deal. It's really not. NIL is paid for a lot of guys to just walk on. Pay for play is for real. Go look at Cormani McClain, who's now at Florida. That's a great example. Dude walked on late at Florida, used NIL just to be able to get on the roster. You think I'm lying? Go look at what he's done. Cormani McClain got a walk-on opportunity, and Florida's coaches essentially did this. We're going to give you an NIL package that is going to be able to pay for everything. You'll have an extra stipend come in. I think his NIL value is well over six figures, I believe. Even for a guy that, look, he had a high-profile name coming into Gainesville, and despite him not playing much, he's still making a boatload of money. That's the reality of college football that we are living in at this current moment. But I think the university is going to be the one that is going to get punished the most. Okay? It's not going to be the athletic department. So, who knows, man? I don't know if it's a lack of institutional control in the slim instance that the NCAA does get involved. There's still a lot of things that have to get resolved and have to get addressed before we get into the punishment ordeals. And we know the NCAA by now. They love to kick their feet. They love to tread water when it comes to this crap. They do this all the freaking time. So, excuse me. I don't know what they do. Will they burn bridges when it comes to things like this? I'm sure they do. They already have. Michigan's already done that. Because majority of the dudes that are involved, with the exception of Ward Manuel, is gone. We're hearing conflicting reports. I watched the interview today with him and Sam Webb, who's a Michigan insider. And from what I was hearing, it's more of a victory lap. It felt like this was Ward Manuel's kind of last public interview that he would do before the end of his tenure. Michigan's board of trustees have already came out and said, or board of directors, or whatever it is, they've come out and said that they will not have a decision at this time, not this week. So I don't know if they're going to stand by that or if things will change. I do expect there to be change at athletic director. I think Michelle said it perfectly. Change has to be made. And you tolerate it for so long, but it gets to a point where the controversy is going to outweigh the success on the field or on the court or whatever. And it already has for Michigan. They've won 2 national championships. Their 2 head coaches that were involved in it are gone. Jim Harbaugh is one thing, because I think Jim knew that there was going to be some crazy going on with the NCAA. That's why I think he ended up bailing. Dusty May knew that there was something going to happen with the end of the Ward Manuel situation. I'm pretty confident in that. But we'll see, man. We're only, I think, a handful of days into this. This is Tuesday. We're about to be at the midway point of the week tomorrow. So there still is a lot of things that have to get addressed. We're not going to have all the answers for tomorrow. There's been a lot of crazy things that are being said around social media saying that Jim Harbaugh ordered this, ordered some or something like that, which I don't believe that is true. I think that's way too far fetched, and I think that's close to defamation. Which, by the way, the guy that actually put out that report altered it a good bit. So, yeah, that's where we're at. So here's what I got. So this is from a guy that I know very personally that I talked to for a little bit. And I asked him about the Sam Webb interview. And he said this. He's overly confident, but because he knows all dirt. This is about Ward Manuel, by the way. Sam let him talk in circles. Sam gave a softball interview. I agree. I think Sam could have been. My apologies. Yeah. A lot of softball questions, man. A lot of softball questions were thrown at Ward Manuel's today during that interview. And I had a feeling we weren't going to get answers today. I knew. Look, this is going to be a very long process, and I think there's going to be a lot more to come out of this whole ordeal once this is all said and done. People are going to eventually find out the real story behind everything that has been going on at Michigan. I'm hoping that we get answers very, very soon. I would like to think that that's the case, but I don't know. I don't know. So things like that, when I hear interviews, the one we just heard with Sam, I just feel like we're not going to get the proper answers. And I don't think any of us will. So we'll see. ACC Media Days are starting tomorrow. So there are a lot of questions that I want to have answered. And the questions that I think a lot of people don't really consider when it comes to the ACC. And I think that these are pretty important questions, in my opinion. So they'll be starting Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They'll kick off Wednesday with Florida State, Miami, North Carolina State, Stanford, and Virginia. So we'll start off with those teams in particular, starting with Florida State. The one question I would ask Mike Norvell or whomever is on the stage is the returning production that you guys have. Deuce Robinson returns on the offensive side of the ball. What does this offense look like? What have you seen from spring practice going on? We talked to TJ Pittenger earlier last week, and we asked him his thoughts. We never really got a clear-cut answer from him in regards to that, but obviously, I don't really know. I don't have a good answer for you as to what this offense's identity is going to be. Do you have full trust in Ashton Daniels as your quarterback? You don't know. You really don't know. For Miami, it's the weapons that you have on the offensive side of the ball. Is this the most complete team that Miami has ever had? And I say that, and I date that back to the last 25 years. Is this the deepest team that Miami has had? Because it feels like everywhere that you look, even with the loss of guys like Markel Bell and Francis Malagoa on the offensive line, it still feels like that you can replace those guys. Guys, this was a Miami team that's going to lose a lot. James Brockermeyer, you're going to lose some dudes on the offensive line. But I think that you're still going to be fine in that area. Darian Mensah is a far better quarterback than Carson Beck. I know that there's Miami fans that love Carson Beck, and that's fine. Carson Beck led you to a national championship. He looked phenomenal in the Shannon Dawson offense. But I think with Mensah, I think you're getting a better deep ball thrower. I think you're getting a guy that is effective in play action and a smart football player. He's not a run. I don't think he'll utilize his legs much. He will when it's necessary. But he's a guy that's going to drop back and sling the freaking rock down the field. He's an athletic quarterback. I believe that Darian Mensah is going to be a first-round draft pick when it's all said and done. I think we should be considering him as that's a top 5 quarterback right now in the NFL draft for 2027. I really believe that. I think Darian Mensah has a phenomenal arm. I think his skill set translates to the NFL, and I think he's going to do really well in this. For North Carolina State, it is how does Dave Doran's defense rebound after, let's just be honest, North Carolina State's one of the biggest struggles that they had this past year. Oh my gosh. Is when you play top offenses in the season, you played Miami, you got your ass handed to. You went to Duke and you played Darian Mensah. That secondary got lit up. It was bad. And you expect them to take a step forward in 2026? I don't know, man. This was an NC State team that defensively, bottom half of the ACC and total defense, just gave up over 27 points a game. So they go out. It's year 2 of the DJ Elliott era, but I do believe that Dave Doran is going to be your primary play caller on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know if he continues that, but we'll see. But this is a North Carolina State team. Look, won 8 games this past year. So it's not like they were a bad team this last year, but I think that they could have been a hell of a lot better. Excuse me. I really do believe that they could have been a hell of a lot better this past season with all the talent that they had on the offensive side of the ball. They could have done a lot more if they would have been able to find an answer in their secondary. They gave up a lot of points in that area. They were 14th in college football in passing. Or they were 14th in the ACC in pass defense. That's bad. That's really, really bad. So that was a team that just did not do very well. They were near the bottom of the ACC in sacks. They've got to get more of a pass rush, guys. They have got to be better in that department. Secondary wise, they were in the middle with interceptions per game. They got 9 on the year, but they have got to be better, dude. They have got to find a way to be so much better off the edge, and they've got to be able to be better at getting off the field. They were one of the worst in college football in third down conversions. They were dead last at 45.7%. You have got to get off the field on third down. That's what hurts you last year if you're NC State. For Stanford, it's Tavita Pritchard, dude. I have said this over and over and over again. Tavita Pritchard is the ultimate Stanford Cardinal underdog story. Nobody is expecting them to improve in year one with him at the helm. Nobody. I don't blame them because they're not going to be good. Are they going to take steps where they could be back? Remember this. Stanford at its height went to 3 Rose Bowls and won 2 of them. Let's not forget that Stanford, it wasn't that long ago that Stanford was a freaking dominant force in college football. David Shaw had that team in the top 10 consistently. Excuse me. That was a team that at its height was number 3 in the country. And they're an opening day loss to Northwestern away from being in the CFP. They are by the way, they were 1 win away, really a couple of third or fourth down conversions away from being in the Pac-12 championship, in all likelihood being in the college football playoff, and not teams like either Michigan State or who was the 4th seed that Clemson played, or Oklahoma. Imagine if we got Stanford in 2015. But regardless of that, Stanford has hit a brick wall the last several years. They've been under controversy with the whole ordeal that involved guys like Troy Taylor, who he was supposed to take over full-time. He was there for 2 years. It was disaster with Troy Taylor. You have the alleged bullying of members in the athletic department. There's some other things that might have gone on. They say that this was happening whenever he was at Sac State. I don't know what to believe of that, but I mean, who knows at this point. But guys, the question that I would ask Tavita Pritchard is, what throughout spring what does it look like throughout the year, throughout the spring year, that you might have seen growth? What are the steps that you guys are taking at this point to improve as a defense, to improve as a whole, to get to a bowl game? What are the steps that you guys are taking at this point in time? And then for Virginia, here's a team that's coming off of one of the best seasons in school history. Guys, they won a lot. And they were really good. Okay? Won a bowl game. This is a Virginia team that won 11 games. Won 11 games for the first time in school history. Never had a better season than this past season. So how do you replace that? How do you replace the amount of seniors that Virginia had. Tony Elliott is going to have a lot of questions to respond to this year. And there's going to be doubt. But do they have the consistency that they built throughout the portal? Can this be a 7 or 8 win team? We'll have to see. For Thursday, you have Boston College, Clemson, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Syracuse, and Virginia Tech. And then Friday, it'll be Cal, Duke, North Carolina, Pitt, SMU, and then Wake Forest. I'm intrigued to see media days this week. It's going to be a fun media days. I'm going to be very, very busy trying to keep up with Sunbelt Media Days, which, by the way, we will be joining the Zoom calls over, and we will be also viewing ACC Media Days as well. So we're excited to kind of break those down over the next few days, give you the latest from these meetings. Okay. So at the moment, Ole Miss right now is mulling legal action over guys TJ Daugherty and Princewell Umanmielen, Princewell Umanmielen and Devin Harper over buyout money. And this is from Keith Carter, who says this. That would be an option. So he had an interview with the Jackson Clarion Ledger. Carter suggested that they were exploring all options to recoup the money they were owed. That would be an option, going and asking a court to get that money for you. Contracts are with the players. LSU could pay that on behalf of the players, so we're kind of exploring all right now. Those two, we're going to continue to figure out how to collect. We feel like based on the contract, we deserve to collect. So this is interesting because this isn't the first time that we've seen players get sued, potentially being sued over things like this. Remember when Cincinnati tried to sue Brennan Sorsby over his $1 million buyout? Yeah. But I think it's interesting for an athletic director to go out into the media and kind of discuss this. Because, listen, I don't know the circumstances behind this, but I think it's interesting that Keith Carter is in the middle of this. But is Ole Miss really going to do this? Is this them just saying things like this? Or do you actually believe that they are going to sue? I have a hard time believing that they do. I don't think that it's worth the headache, and I don't personally think that it's even worth their time. I really don't. It's me personally. So we obviously have a lot that has to get dug up from this. I think it's kind of crazy to have this just all of a sudden be news, which is insane. Absolutely insane. So I don't know, man. There's going to be a lot that will continue to be said. There's going to be a lot that is going to be told over the next couple of weeks, months, however long these lawsuits, if they decide to pursue legal action, which I have a hard time believing they will, but who knows at the end of the day. All right, top 10 running backs time. Let's talk about it. So at 10, I have Raleek Brown from Texas. I mean, guy that transfers in from Arizona, hard runner, really became the focal point of that offense when Sam Levitt went down. And I thought that he did a really good job. Over 1,000 yards rushing, and a guy that took over in big moments during the season. I think that he really did a great job of kind of controlling that offense and really taking over. You get him involved in that. Excuse me. You get him in this rushing offense that Texas is obviously trying to build upon. They're trying to improve upon big time, though. Texas's rush game this past year was horrible. Part of it is because of mediocre interior offensive line, but maybe you get a better adjustment. Number 9, I have his counterpart in Hollywood Smothers. Smothers is a phenomenal athlete. He's going to be your guy that's going to get out of the backfield and catch a lot of passes. I would not be surprised if Sark comes up with a 2 running back set where you motion a guy out the backfield to be that 4th wide receiver out. You get a guy, you get him. Raleek Brown ends up being in the backfield, which I think it would be understandable. I know Raleek Brown was more of a did catch some passes out the backfield and did use the sideline. I think Smothers is the more athletic version of the two, and I think he's going to be more utilized in the passing game than Raleek Brown. Number 8 is Justice Haynes from Georgia Tech. Remember, I know he got hurt, and I know people are going to complain about that. Guys, Justice Haynes is, when he's 100%, can be arguably one of the more dominant running backs in college football. Justice Haynes averaged over 7 yards a carry with a Michigan offensive line that was mediocre, to say the best. And they got pushed around when they played some really good defensive lines. Go look at that Oklahoma game. Go look at that Ohio State game. Okay? Let's just be real. The USC game, yeah, you could say that too. But how much does Justice Haynes impact this Georgia Tech offense? Well, it gives Alberto Mendoza a guy that's going to be an option-based quarterback in a team that could be an option-based offense again with Chris Weinke at the helm. So incredible. Mendoza is going to be able to have arguably the best back in the ACC to pitch the football out to. We'll see what Isaac Brown has to say. We'll get to him in just a minute. But Haynes is that safety valve that I think Mendoza is going to have for his first full year as a starter, and I think he's going to take full advantage of the opportunity that's in front of him. 7 is Isaac Brown, probably the most athletic freak in this NFL draft cycle. I think Brown is a guy that I think could put himself into that top 2 or 3 running backs in college football. I know Nate Frazier is among one of those guys. I would have put Nate Frazier in here, but I think that this year was just so deep with running backs. It was so hard to come up with guys that, I thought could potentially put themselves in the top 10 list. But I think Isaac Brown is, if he's healthy, Isaac Brown is the best running back in the ACC. No questions asked. Isaac Brown has done a lot of good for Louisville. And in this Jeff Brom system, he fits so well with him. Jeff Brom is going to be able to use the best athlete in the ACC to his advantage. Number 6, I have Caleb Hawkins from Oklahoma State, the NCAA's leading touchdown leader from this past year. 25 touchdowns for Caleb Hawkins. You get him in that Oklahoma State offense that is already dynamic with guys like Wyatt Young. Drew Mestemaker heads out to Stillwater with Eric Morris in this offense. Hawkins is a guy that is utilized all over the place in the pass game, in the running game. Red zone threat, man. That's where he's going to get a lot of his touches. I think he's more of a Dylan Sampson type of back, in my opinion, and really shifty. He's a guy that's going to be very, very quick. Gets into a second gear when you least expect it. Number 5, I have LJ Martin, the best running back in the Big 12. LJ Martin just broke out massively this past year, and I think that he's getting a lot more attention than he is the past couple of seasons. I know Martin was still a 1,000-yard back even in those last couple of years, but the way that he just exploded for this team was just tremendous. You have games where he just took over in big time situations. You look at that Cincinnati game where he has 32 carries for 222. You have games like Arizona where overtime belonged to him, 25 for 162. Dominant against Utah, 26 for 122. I know he got hurt in the Iowa State game and was limited much in the Texas Tech game, but guys, he's going to have breakout games this year. LJ Martin is going to be healthy this year. I expect him to have another massive year. And listen, there's a reason why he was the offensive player of the year in 2025. There's a reason why I think he's a preseason, he's an All-American. Go turn on the tape of him. He is that good of a running back. And he's going to be that good of a running back. Number 4, I have Keywan Lacey from Ole Miss. And I know what you other conference fans are going to say. Oh, I got SEC bias. I don't want to hear it today. Nate Frazier isn't even on this list from Georgia. So, but Keywan Lacey from Ole Miss is really interesting to me because I think his tape. You got to think about this. Austin Simmons struggled with turnovers early on in the season. He led the entirety of college football in carries too. Everybody talks about Trinidad Chambliss. And look, make no mistake about it. Trinidad Chambliss was a phenomenal quarterback. Really, really a phenomenal quarterback. With the way that he carried the football and the way that of his dual threat capability works with guys like him and Keywan. I think they complement each other. But you know what's even better? Is the first two games of the season when Keywan Lacey or when you saw guys like Austin Simmons struggle with the turnovers, and then you see him get hurt during the Kentucky game. He has to miss that Arkansas game, and then Trinidad Chambliss just took over. Those first two games, Keywan Lacey had 4 touchdowns and had over 230 yards or had 246 yards in the first 2 weeks against Georgia State and Kentucky. I know those were crap games, but when you have a quarterback that was struggling that to start the year with turnovers and stuff, you had a first-year quarterback in there. Keywan Lacey played a massive difference in that ballgame and continued to play a big difference. Ran for 224 against Florida. Ran for $143 in a hard-fought battle with Mississippi State. $167 against South Carolina. And ran hard. I mean, if Keywan Lacey doesn't get hurt in that Miami game, they win the football game. He was averaging over almost 10 yards a carry and exploded on that 73-yard run. If he doesn't have hamstring issues in the second half of that game, Miami probably wins it. Or Ole Miss probably wins that football game. That's the type of difference that he can make. Number 3, I have Mark Fletcher. Mark Fletcher was just a... If there was one player that I thought was the MVP of the entirety of the college football playoff, I thought it was Mark Fletcher. Mark Fletcher played a phenomenal football game. Had some phenomenal games during the second half or during the entirety of the college football playoff run. 17 for 172 against Texas A&M, over 10 yards a carry that he averaged. And let me do the calculations. He had just under 1,000 yards in the regular season. Plus 172. He had 507 yards in the 4-game stretch of the college football playoff. And in the regular season, this is his total. 84 plus 106 plus 18 plus 40. He had 685 yards in the regular season. He had almost the same, he had just under 200 yards less in the second, in the entirety of the college football playoff than he did in all of the regular season. I find that amazing. I'm going to get, I see, Caden, I see you in the chat or in the background. I'm going to get to your call as soon as I'm done with these top 10 running backs list. Number 2, I have Jaden Ball. I think Ball is going to be arguably the most dominant running back right now in the SEC, aside from what Ahmad Hardy looks like. We'll see what that puts on display. But listen, Florida's going to have to, he's 6'1", 231 pounds. Okay. Jaden Ball is such a phenomenal football player. He's probably going to be the difference why Florida wins a game or two this season. Is because of the play of Jaden Ball. And finally, my number 1, I have no question about it. No, I didn't. Who did I forget? All right. Well, when you get up here, I'll tell you. You can ask me, or you can tell me who I forgot. But anyways, number 1, I have no question about it. It's Ahmad Hardy. The difference that he made for Missouri this past year was incredible. You're talking about a team that was down, I think, their 3rd-string quarterback during SEC play when Matt Zollers had to come in. Because you lose Bo Pribula to the portal. Or really, Bo Pribula got hurt at some point during the season. And then you have the ordeal with this gun situation. Listen, Ahmad Hardy is such a physical runner. I think that Missouri running back room in total is really, really going to be dependent on how their production is. He was a guy that averaged over 12 yards a carry against Mississippi State. 300-yard game, 250 yards against UL. I know it's Louisiana, but still, it's pretty impressive. He runs hard. He runs angry, and he owns the line of scrimmage. All right. Running backs are done. Let's get to Caden the Diesel Freak. Caden, do you want your camera on? Shake your head, yes or no. Do you want your camera on or off? Okay, you want us to show your face. Hello, Caden. How are you tonight, man?
Lucas Hill, how's it going, sir?
I could not be better. I wanted to get your reaction to
checking my boss's acres right now on crop scouting out by the highway. So if you hear traffic noise, it's right by a highway. So just so you're warned. Well, you're forgetting 2 running backs, and especially those running backs come from my favorite university, The Ohio State University. You forget Bo Jackson Jr., who absolutely destroyed Notre Dame in our championship run, and who absolutely ran the ball against Michigan. Now, you're forgetting one more, and he's the son of an Ohio State legend, Stanley Jackson Jr., who also was a part of that roster. Now, he did some receiving, he did some running back, and I got to give the kid credit. That whole Ohio State running back room, you just completely ignored it. I'm like, how could you ignore the best team with the best running backs, with the best offense in the nation? Come on, please, Lucas. Explain to me why Ohio State's my guys from Ohio State are not on that list of running backs. Because I'm like shocked. Because here's my question, Lucas. Here's my question. Let me ask you this question since I'm a little interested, curious. Is it just because you don't like Ohio State? Is it that why?
Caden, I literally have y'all winning the national championship. How the hell do I not like Ohio State?
Where's the running back category? I'm surprised you haven't mentioned Bo Jackson Jr. in that category because he absolutely ran the ball.
Mention, okay.
But let alone, we also have the best wide receiver group in the nation. We have the best quarterback room in the nation. We have the best tight ends. So I don't see how we're not in the conversation right now that we're going to win the national title this year. And however, that surprises me, Lucas. You claim to say you have us winning the national title. Where's our guys on your list? That's my question.
What does that have to do with y'all winning the national championship?
No, I'm just wondering because
I don't have guys in my list, that doesn't mean you're not winning a national title.
No, I'm just I'm surprised that you're not acknowledging any of the good athletes that are at Ohio State, let alone some of the great talent that we have.
Go watch any of my videos. When have I ever not acknowledged what Ohio State has this year?
Oh no, I know you have. It's just this stream in particular, I'm like, that's interesting. That's just my thought process, or I could be crazy. I don't know.
What was your thoughts on the whole Michigan situation that's going on this week? I'm interested to hear in Ohio
Michigan. Literally, they were going to implode. And trust me, I saw it coming. I didn't want to say about it, but yet I knew it was going to happen one day or the other. And I wasn't surprised Emmanuel got fired because they knew all that trouble.
Fired yet. Or Ward Manuel isn't fired yet.
But I mean, it's coming. I see it coming in the next 2 days or so that he's going to get fired.
Well,
if he doesn't clean up his act,
they're not firing him. They're not making a decision this week.
Well, I would suggest they fire his ass because if the guy's not going to clean up his act, but let alone clean up the football team and get that figured out, he's got a whole nother set of problems coming.
Well,
I'm telling you, Lucas.
Really, I'm telling you, team. It's the athletic program as a whole that he's in charge of.
It's not even just the whole athletic program. It's not even just the whole athletic. Listen, Lucas, we can agree to disagree on things, and I'll kindly accept that. But
I know.
You know what? That's the good thing about having these conversations. And however, I may not agree with what you say, or you may not agree with what I say. Okay, I'm not going to be ashamed of it. Nobody is. And as far as I'm concerned about Michigan's future, they're literally on a collapse. I have said it dozens of times for the last 4 years, 5. So it wouldn't surprise me if Ward Manuel's carcass is kicked off the university campus and they hire somebody else to be the AD. You may not agree, but I see it coming, Lucas Hill. Trust me.
I'm not in disagreement with you. Here's the thing. I know a change is going to be made. It's not going to happen this week because the board has already come out and said that they're not making a change at all this week. And Ward, and look, I don't know if you saw the interview that Sam Webb did with Ward earlier this morning.
Oh, no, I saw it.
And so I talked to a couple guys and I asked them their thoughts on it. And I pretty much got the same impression that it was a softball interview. Sam let him talk in circles. It was him being overly confident because, of course, he would. He's got to act like it. And to be honest with you, when it comes to an interview like that, and the timing of it is really bad because you have this whole ordeal going on. And Sam already said this was an interview planned weeks in advance. What I would have been curious to know is, why did this all of a sudden just now come up to where the reports say that you could potentially be gone at the end of the week? He's mentioned something about the buyout, but it was so nonchalant, just like, I know that you haven't been really talking about a buyout or something like that. And I just thought it was stupid the way that the question was worded. And it just, I know they have to because it's their affiliate school that they have to cover. They have to be somewhat non-biased or anything like
Non-biased. Non-biased. Excuse me. What it sounded like to me was a lot of horse shit. And them kissing War Manual's ass. That's what it was. And that's my opinion. Now, a lot of your viewers that are probably Michigan fans can disagree with me and call me
Believe it or not,
stupid.
the majority of my viewers aren't even from the north.
Well, you never know. You get some Michigan fans down south that are living down there, but you never know. Trust me, I've traveled across the nation before. But I think War Manual's gonna leave here soon enough. It's just people don't realize that downfall's coming.
Well, here's what I think is that they're already planning his buyout. I think it's going to come into effect by either the end of this week or next week. And
it wouldn't surprise me.
Listen, every single person that has been involved with some kind of controversy at Michigan is gone. Jim Harbaugh is with the Chargers. Santa Ono, the former president, is now at the University of Florida. Do you know why Santa Ono is significant here?
Oh, I can give
when Michigan had the whole situation with him going to take the job at Florida just like that, and 7 months before, he got an 8-year extension.
Oh yeah.
And then you have several weeks later, several young women came forward and sued him over Title IX allegations about him hacking into a computer, a la Matt Weiss. Kind of similar.
Oh yeah, the whole Matt Weiss, Sharon Moore sex. Yeah.
This is all alleged, by the way, just so we can avoid getting sued, FYI. But look.
Listen, you can save it because I'm gonna be particularly honest with you, Lucas Hill. I hope your speaker's working here. But with all due respect, well, I shouldn't say with all. I'm just gonna be disrespectful to Michigan fans either way. You know that War Manual's just gonna be out the door here in the next week, and not even. And I see it coming. Everybody who left Michigan is out. And War Manual's just the last one that they've got to get out, but yet they're just trying to cover up his ass for his actions. But let me just say, it's going to be served here once, but
by the way,
it's just taking time.
Ward knew about majority of the situation.
Oh, I know he did. He just covered up for the whole other shenanigans. He was just trying to save their rear ends.
Go look at the court documents.
I don't even need to see the court documents from what I've heard. Listen, you can call me crazy, but I have my gut feelings, and I can understand what the news says. Either that news, the news media outlet is full of shit and they're ass kissers, or they tell the truth. That's either way. But that's just my 2 cents.
By the way, I stand by my opinion that Bo Jackson is not a top 10 running back.
That's fine by me. Say it all you want, but this season he's going to dominate, especially with Chris Henry Jr. at wide receiver now and Jeremiah Smith, because that's 2 deadly receivers going to be running secondaries out like you never seen. That's like Chris Carter and Calvin Johnson. Chris Henry Jr.'s got speed, and he can run the slot. He can run deep. And Jeremiah Smith obviously is like Megatron. And if you know who Megatron is, you know. Calvin Mega freaking Johnson.
I am well aware of who Megatron is.
Jeremiah Smith is like Calvin Johnson. He can go deep and he can do some good catches. And it takes not even 1, 2. It takes 3 guys to stop him, but yet nobody can cover him. Chris Henry Jr. is going to be uncoverable. Carnell Tate, let me phrase it. You know what? I'll say this. Randy Moss was praising Carnell Tate.
Carnell Tate's in the NFL.
Well, I mean, from this last season, Carnell Tate got the praise of a Hall of Famer, Randy Moss. So I wouldn't be surprised if Randy Moss calls Chris Henry Jr. the next best receiver at Ohio State right now. And even Chris Carter himself calls Chris Henry Jr. Now, you can disagree with me all you want, but, because I'm a Buckeye. I've been at camps. I've been at Buckeye camps this past winter, this past spring, while I was even working, and I got invited to the camps. So deal with it, because I'm warning everybody down south. Nobody is safe from Ohio State. Nobody. Oh, we'll see. That's not just a guarantee, Lucas Hill. That's a fact. Bodies are going to be thrown, and the score is going to be ran up on the board. And we're going to run it everybody's throat. And I don't care who you are. And let me remind you, we've got Alabama next season.
Okay.
So rest assured you, when we beat them boys from Tuscaloosa, and they come up in our house, just be warned that I told you so when we run the score up on them. Oh, let me see. What's that final score going to be? 62-3.
Hold on. What is that final score going to be?
62-3.
For who?
Ohio State, when we beat Alabama in the horseshoe.
Okay.
And I did not stutter. You know what? And the funny thing is, we've got Texas again, and we're going to beat Texas by double digits.
No,
I'd say 56-7 in Texas.
By double digits.
Oh, you're shaking your head. Doesn't surprise me from a South Carolina fan. Doesn't surprise me. Lucas Hill up the SEC.
Not even a South Carolina fan, but okay.
Lucas Hill doesn't surprise me.
You do realize that this is a national college football show now, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm just calling you out.
For what?
I'm just calling you out for being the former South Carolina fan that you were, and your bias towards the Buckeyes, which I have a track record of hearing you spit. So, just so you know, I know you can be biased towards Ohio State, just like your buddy Jackson Johnson.
Wait. Spit what? Spit biased against what?
My Buckeyes, however. Buckeyes, you're talking about my Buckeyes. Since you like to talk about my Buckeyes so much on your channel, let me give you a little refresher.
The only thing that I've said about Ohio State so far is that they are the front runners to win a national championship.
Not only the front runners to win the playoffs and the national championship, the number one offense in the nation and the number one defense in the nation.
Okay,
that's a fact. Oh, you could say it's not a fact, Lucas Hill, but I'm telling you, I've watched the camps, and I got personally invited, courtesy of my source, because my source works within the Ohio State University, and that's how I got free passes to the camps during the winter and fall, and not even last fall, this past winter and spring, I got invited to the camps that the media is not allowed to. So I know when I see a good team. Listen, I used to play high school football, and I know when I see a good team that is ready to go out there and absolutely smoke somebody.
Caden, I did too. I played high school football and got a walk-on opportunity to play in college. And I played semi-pro ball too. So I'm throwing that out there for your
I had a couple scholarships, but I turned them down to go do my favorite career.
Which is what? Farming?
I'm not even just a farmhand. I'm a truck mechanic, and I'm also a equipment mechanic full time.
Nice.
Because I know the consequences of being an athlete on a high dollar campus when they like to talk about, how you're the one that's going to save the program or you're the one special talent. I've been there and done that, and I don't need to give anybody a refresher course.
Okay.
Campuses can be sometimes a dump heap, and sometimes they're good. It just depends where you commit. But all of them, in my opinion, I just hated all the security that they had us do.
Jackson said, whatever Caden is drinking or eating, I need some of that copium flavor.
What did that jackass say? What did that jackass say? I didn't hear that.
Whatever Caden is drinking or eating, I need some of that copium flavor.
Well, I've got a little word of advice for Jackson. Say all your stupid little quotes, because your Armageddon, Alabama's Armageddon, is coming soon. The clock's ticking. And that clock I'm assuring you, is not going to end well for any of you. And when we beat Alabama, not once but twice, I'm going to be telling you. And that's a fact. Because Ohio State is just growing a lot stronger and a lot more deadlier, both on offense and defense. Marvin Harrison Jr.'s brother already committed to Ohio State.
I know.
And we've got an Ohio State legend's son who also committed to Ohio State. Bobby the Stinger Carpenter.
I know who Bobby Carpenter is.
His son's committed. And the word of news around...
You told me all this last week.
Oh, yeah, but here's the other news. Word has it Junior Seau's two sons are committing to the Ohio State University.
Okay.
Seau's
a USC alum.
Yeah, well, from what I hear from my source from out in California, because that person does business with the Seau brothers, and I won't say why.
I think I know why.
What do you think what that business is? Athletics, gear. What do you think it is?
Come on, you and I.
Come on, you can say it, Lucas Hill. Come on, tell me.
You and I both know why.
Why? Come on, tell me, Lucas. Since you're
Hey, Jackson. He says? What's up, Southern Sports Scene Nation?
Tell me, Lucas. What do you think?
You said he does business with them.
Oh yeah, because actually he's a fashion reseller.
Okay.
He sold me about $5,500 of Chrome Hearts. And yeah.
Okay.
What? It's a high brand fashion clothing. I haven't even worn anything of it. I haven't worn any of it yet, but I'm going to Sunday to church.
Okay.
And we both been talking about a lot of workout routines, meals, and just keeping up on, linebacker drills, Oklahoma drill.
You know the Michigan channel is live right now, huh?
Oh yeah, but they're jackasses, and I ain't a jackass.
Why?
Do I really need to explain that TJ, Johnny Olden, and John D'Angelo are the biggest Wolverine ass-kissing bastards on the face of God's green earth? Do I really need to explain that to anybody?
I'm gonna stop you right there because I've listened to them a couple of times. They're not really ass kissers, okay? They're confronting this whole Ward Manual situation just like I am, okay? I've been real about this Connor Stallion situation. I've been really real about everything else. I've stand by what I say about the Stallions ordeal. There was no evidence of him that was sign stealing is legal in college football. If you don't change your freaking signs, whose fault is that? That is on you, that is on personnel, and that is on your staff. The advanced scouting ordeal, that could be said. But guess what? Everyone in college football has done it. The only big real difference is that you're talking about a team that was on a national championship run, and this comes out. That's the only reason why. And I'm going to stand by that. Caden, appreciate you taking the time to come in and call in. Always love your calls. You are
Lucas, I have a present for you.
What? Okay.
There's two of you, son.
Thank you, Caden. All right, that's going to do it for us here on the Southern Sports Scene. Make sure y'all do us a favor. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell notification so that you are notified every time we go live, posting a video or posting a short. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, stay blessed and don't stress. Y'all have a great rest of the week.